It's Bell on the 2. Kenny Bell has some room. And he's all the way up to the 35-yard line where the Broncos start 1st and 10. Rob McGovern making the hit for the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's the way the Broncos offensive line will start. Keith Karts at center, replacing the injured Billy Bryan. It's a rebuilt group with the left tackle, Gerald Perry. And, of course, the veteran squad in the backfield led by quarterback John Elway, one of the best in the business out of Stanford. Ricky Nattiel and Michael Young will come into the ball game on 3rd and long situations. But now it's 1st and 10 Broncos, starting from their 35. Elway will put it up on the first play of the game. He's got the tight end Clarence Kay, and Kay is stuck immediately. Kevin Ross, the first man to make the hit, with help from Walker Lee Ashley.
If you take a look at Keith Bishop on the offensive line for the Denver Broncos, does a nice job. He's very strong. Protects the center there all the time.
All right, let's check now the Kansas City defense. The front 7, up front, Bill Moss, a talented nose tackle, flanked by Neil Smith and Mike Bell. Linebackers, the rookie, Derek Thomas. Keep your eye on him. And back deep, truly one of the outstanding secondaries in all of football. Keep in mind Kevin Porter, number 27, playing for the injured Lloyd Burris. 2nd and 6. Delay to Winder. He's over the 40-yard line. It'll be a 3rd down situation. Sammy Winder, the veteran out of southern Mississippi.
Now Keith Bishop drives his man outside. It's a nice job, and there's a hole right there, just what Keith was. Nice job by the offensive line. Keith is the only guy that's ever been voted to the Pro Bowl for the Denver Broncos.
It's amazing. They've had some talented players here.
Very much so.
They've got 4 wide receivers in the game on 3rd and 3. 3 of them flanked to the top part of the screen. Lots of time for Elway. He's got his man in a 1st down. The pass complete to Vance Johnson. J.C. Pearson and Danny Copeland on the stop for the Chiefs.
Derek Thomas is going to have to learn technique to get by his blocker to put pressure on the quarterback. He hasn't been able to do that yet. See, now Derek Thomas gets a nice takeoff, but he's got to be capable of using hands and getting rid of that blocker to put pressure on Elway. If he's not capable of doing that, Elway's going to have all day long to throw the ball, and Kansas City secondary will be in trouble.
Broncos moving 1st and 10. Winder and Alexander are split behind John Elway. We're just underway from Mile High Stadium. Play fake. In trouble now. Elway completes the pass to Alexander. Putting the pressure on for Kansas City was the outside linebacker, Chris Martin. Elway did a good job of avoiding the rush and dumping the ball off to Alexander to turn a sure loss into a gain.
There's the replay. John fades back, and of course, Kansas City's got no pressure. And there's pressure from the outside from Derek. He's chasing Elway down. He's got to learn to come into the backfield under control. If he doesn't do that, John's going to be able to scramble out of the way in every situation. He's got to come under control.
Melvin Bratton checks into the game now for the first time this afternoon for the Denver Broncos. He's back there with Jeff Alexander.
Yes, sir.
Bratton in motion. Elway to put it up again. He's got his man, Melvin Bratton, the rookie out of Miami, in a 1st down for the Denver Broncos. Melvin Bratton, a very interesting story. Blew out his knee his senior year at the University of Miami. Was selected by the Miami Dolphins. Did not like the contract offer they made to him. Rehabilitated the knee. Elected to sit out the entire season. Re-entered the draft, and the Broncos are happy to have him. Bratton coming out of the backfield there. He has the best hands of the Denver running backs. And Dan Reeves is very high on getting him the ball out on the flat whenever possible. He's in there now with Sammy Winder on 1st and 10. 11:08 to play in the 1st quarter. The Broncos on the move. It's Winder slicing his way forward before Kevin Porter finally dropped him. The Kansas City Chiefs tried to make some adjustments on defense because they were one of the worst teams in the NFL against the rush last year. And Dan Reeves told us yesterday that the Broncos are going to do everything in their power to exploit the Chiefs' weakness as far as rushing defense goes. John Elway, 4 of 4, 24 yards. Here he's facing a 2nd and 4. It's Winder over the right guard, and I think Sammy Winder's got a first down. Dino Hackett on the hit for the Kansas City Chiefs.
And that's a key play because Denver's offensive line isn't physically big enough, but they're pulling Keith Bishop around up inside the outside part of the nose tackle to give room for the running backs to run up through there.
Well, you're looking at a rebuilt Kansas City Chief defense. First of all, you have 2 linebackers in there that were on other teams last year. Chris Martin, who played part of the year for the Vikes and then played for the Chiefs. Walker Lee Ashley, a Plan B free agent from the Vikings. And Derek Thomas, the rookie. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Bratton in motion. This is the big fullback, Jeff Alexander, putting his head down and crushing forward for a few tough yards.
Fred, that's a very nice job by Keith Kartz, the center for the Denver Broncos, taking over for Billy Bryan. Put a nice block on Nas. He gave room for the running back.
Jeff Alexander, an interesting story as well, coming out of the ball game now. Spent last year on IR with an injured wrist, but Dan Reeves says that he is the big back the Broncos have been missing for some time, and he's not afraid to give him the ball in tight situations. Sammy Winder, the lone setback behind Elway on 2nd and 7. Moving from the 24-yard line, 9:08 to play in the first quarter. Elway for Clarence Kane, he overthrew him. Kevin Porter had him defensively. They tried to slant Kane into the end zone, and Elway simply overthrew him.
Keith Kartz is doing a very nice job controlling Moss at the moment. It's early in the game, but I would imagine that Bill will get a little angry and start beating up on Kartz a little bit.
Let's take a look at it.
Gets up the ball pretty nice and quick. He's using his hands good. See, Bill's trying to take a side, and Kartz is pushing him outside of his rushing lane. Moss has got to stay inside the rushing lane. See how they're all bundled up on one side? That gives Elway time to throw the ball and vision to see his receivers.
3rd and 7, Broncos with 3 wide receivers in the ball game. Look for 83, Michael Young. Instead, the pass is for Jackson, and he overthrows him in the end zone into double coverage. Danny Copeland back there with Duron Cherry.
The key here is John Elway's quickness. He gets knocked down here, but he gets rid of the ball. They say his release is as quick as anybody in football. And he's a little overthrown there. John needed to take a little bit off the ball.
David Treadwell in to attempt his first field goal for the Denver Broncos. 41-yard attempt. Yard field goal by David Treadwell, and the Broncos jump out to a 3-0 lead. David Treadwell is a young man who earned a job on this club because Rich Carlos could not come to contract terms with the Broncos.
Obviously, he realizes this is his chance to perform, and he's doing a good job. The important part about what's happening in the end zone.
And this one is short. It's Danny Copeland on the 12-yard line. He brings it up to the 25. Mark Munford on the stop. The veteran Steve DeBerg, the first time in his career that he can actually say, I'm the #1 quarterback and there's nobody waiting in the wings. Those are the men that will be up ahead of him. Mike Webster anchors an offensive line that has been completely rebuilt by the Kansas City Chiefs.
What we have to look for here, Fred, I think, is watch Denver's defensive ends align up on top of the guards. They shut down the running game.
As you can see, when they go to 4 wideouts, Rob Thomas and Naz Worth and the rookies in the game for the Chiefs. They're starting 1st and 10 from their own 25. Herman Hurd, the lone setback. DeBerg not afraid to put it up. And it's picked off. Tyrone Braxton's got the ball.
What a play Tyrone Braxton made. He played him perfectly. Stepped off the ball, off the receiver, stepped in front of the ball. Bam, touchdown. Tremendous play. Great read, Fred.
Not exactly the way Steve DeBerg wanted to start the ball game.
Absolutely not, but he'll settle down. Let's wait and see.
Treadwell tacks on the extra point.
Boy,
just that quick.
This is a surprise. So quick.
Tyrone Braxton, a 12th round pick in 1987 out of North Dakota State. He stuck with the club because of his special teams play, and he's playing today for the injured Mark Haynes.
Here we go. DeBerg setting back, looking at his receivers. Just a tremendous play by Braxton. He played off his receiver perfectly, stepped in front, caught the ball, intercepted, and touchdown. Is DeBerg looking? He should have looked off his receiver and gone to later on, but instead he goes right to his primary receiver, and it's trouble. He read the ball. Braxton read the ball, and it's a touchdown.
Lyle,
Fred, could you have done that?
No, I couldn't have done that.
I think you could have intercepted that.
You're probably right. I could have.
I have no doubt.
With my quickness.
Here we go again. Just a perfect play by Braxton.
You know, but
he's only 5'11".
You point something out. He looked right at Harry. He never looked him off.
He did not look his receiver off, and it's important that a quarterback does just that to confuse the defensive backs. Now, Braxton read that very easily. That's why he made the interception.
Marty Schartenheimer knows it's going to take a while to get things together.
Absolutely. It certainly looks like they're a little bit confused right at the moment.
So here's Treadwell again. Copeland and Gamble are deep. And this time he booms it into the end zone. Steve DeBerg marching back out onto the field. One play, one turnover, and Denver scores. Let's check that defense. Up front, you have Alfonso Carricker, the Plan B free agent signed out of Green Bay. Andre Towson on the other side. Simon Fletcher, a man to keep an eye on, 73. He'll be blitzing a lot. The Bronco defensive backfield, basically a new unit. You have the rookie Atwater. Henderson and Braxton weren't there last year. The only returning veteran is Dennis Smith. Herman Hurd, the lone setback behind Steve DeBerg. Chiefs are moving 1st and 10 from their 20. Lost the ball, it's on the ground, and the Broncos appear to have it. Two snaps from center and 2 turnovers for Kansas City.
Kansas City looks so unsettled at the moment. It was a nice recovery by Andre Townsend at Denver, but Kansas City looks so unsettled right now. They're just unsure of things.
Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday it was going to take time, Lyle. They were going to be a bit uneasy, but I don't think it's got to be this uneasy.
He couldn't handle the ball, and Townsend was there and made the sack, and they recovered the ball. You know, when you're playing in this situation, the team is uneasy. You have to try and settle your team down. Kansas City obviously is not sure what they're doing.
Broncos 1st and goal from the 8. That's Johnson in motion. Sammy Winder, room around the outside. Winder, short of the goal line. Marker on the play. Well, one official has signaled touchdown, but there is a flag on the play.
Holding during the run. Number 40 on the offense. Still 1st down.
We now welcome those of you who are watching the Chicago Bears-Cincinnati Bengal ball game. The Bears winning it 17-14. Fred Rogan and Lyle Alzado at Mile High Stadium in Denver. And you have missed some exciting football with 8:04 to play in the 1st quarter. The Broncos already out to a 10-0 lead. Kansas City has turned the ball over twice, and Denver is now trying to capitalize again. John Elway facing a 1st and goal from the 18-yard line. Bobby Humphrey and Mel Bratton, the running backs behind him. This is the rookie out of Miami, Bratton, with room up the middle. He's inside the 10-yard line. Now, while you were away watching the other game, this is how the Broncos got on the board.
You should have looked off his receiver. Instead of Braxton does a nice job of reading the ball, picking it off, and going for a touchdown. Now, this gives Denver an opportunity to get on a roll with things. They have a lot of confidence in what they're doing, obviously. They know what they're doing, and they're executing.
Tyrone Braxton, a 34-yard interception for a touchdown on the Chiefs' 1st possession. Now Denver moving 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. Again to Bratton, pulling his way forward. Kevin Porter finally wrestled him down. Mel Bratton, 6'1", 225. The key is, will his knee last the season? He looks awfully good now.
You see what they're doing here, Fred? They're delaying it so Bratton has a chance to get through there. They're letting the defensive lineman come through and allowing Bratton to have time to cross the line of scrimmage. With a guy that big and that fast, he's gone to the touchdown, or close to it.
Dan Reeves told us yesterday, Bratton and Alexander are the kind of backs he needs. Big, strong running backs that can move people out, run over them. Marty Schottenheimer feels like he's been run over by a truck, and we're just in the first quarter. 3rd and goal. Winder, touchdown. If you're Denver, you're feeling awfully good. If you're Kansas City, you're wondering what happened.
Well, I would imagine right now, Kansas City's trying to adjust to what Denver's doing. Denver has them on ropes. Sammy Winder has got great speed, great balance, and here he's going for the touchdown. It's 17-0. Kansas City's in some trouble.
6 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. Treadwell trying to make it a 17-0 game. Out of the hole to Kubiak. If you like scoring and you like Denver, you're in a great mood. 6:30 to play in the quarter. The Broncos out to a 17-0 lead. And if things don't change, it's still going to be a long time.
They're keeping that streak alive, Fred.
Denver has come out fired up, and the Chiefs look very uncertain.
Yeah, but Kansas City's turning the ball over. They're making a lot of mistakes, and that's giving Denver an opportunity to score points and jump on top of this team.
Sammy Winder converting the scoring drive to give the Broncos the 17-0 lead.
I know what I tell my Kansas City players on the sideline. Let's go. Come on.
Well, that would,
some butt.
That'd be an inspiration, Lyle.
Absolutely. I'd use other words, but I'm not allowed.
I don't know if you were allowed to use the one you did.
I think so.
Okay. Danny Copeland waiting for the kick. On the goal line, it's Copeland. Chopped down at the 20-yard line. The Plan B free agent Scott Curtis making the hit for the Broncos. Steve DeBerg has lined up behind Mike Webster twice in this ball game. On the first play, he threw an interception that cost him a touchdown. The second time, he muffed the exchange with Herman Hurd, and that cost the Chiefs.
I would think all those long days in training camp, they would have gotten used to the snap count, and everything should be settled. Obviously, they're not.
Moving 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Emil Harry in motion. Hurd. And Michael Brooks making the hit for the Broncos.
Michael Brooks is a fine football player. I think Kansas City has to establish something now. Let them establish the running game. Maybe they'll give us some confidence. They can start throwing the ball and gain some yardage. Right now, as I mentioned before, they look so unsettled, so unsure of themselves.
Well, the Chiefs told us that they wanted to establish that running game. That was the key for them this afternoon.
And I think with Marty as their coach, they'll stay with it until they can establish that.
James Saxon now in the backfield with Hurd on 2nd and 7. He has time. Swings it out to Herman Hurd over the 30-yard line, and it looks like the Chiefs have their first down of the afternoon. Mark Munford made the hit for Denver.
Here's DeBerg dropping back. See, he's not going to the out patterns anymore because they've got it covered. He's going underneath the linebackers to Herman Hurd here, and it's a nice play, nice pass play. He gets some yardage. Maybe they'll get them going now.
Chiefs moving 1st and 10 from the 32. Hurd. banging forward for a couple. Well, Chicago came back to beat Cincinnati. Indianapolis made a game of it in the Hoosier Dome, but the 49ers winning there, and New Orleans ruining Jimmy Johnson's debut as coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome to the NFL, huh, Fred?
Welcome to the NFL. A little different ball game this time around. Houston and Minnesota tied in the late games, and New England out ahead of the Jets. He's waited a long time to be the #1 quarterback with no one waiting in the wings. Steve DeBerg getting his chance this season. Over the middle, and Jonathan Hayes couldn't hold on to the ball. He wanted the tight end, Jonathan Hayes, the weakest receiver of the 3 Kansas City tight ends. Hayes is the man they have lead the sweep and deliver blocks, but when it comes to catching the ball, not necessarily the man you want to look to.
Absolutely. Mike Webster is the guy who has solidified this offensive line. He's powerful, he's strong, he's all pro. He'll probably be a Hall of Famer, and here he is now moving Denver's defensive line around.
3rd and 6 for the Chiefs. We have a chance to look at their 4 wide receiver alignment now. DeBerg is hit, but gets the ball away, and it's complete to Emil Harry for a first down. Good job by Steve DeBerg staying in the pocket and facing that defensive pressure.
There's good defensive lineman technique. They've got pushing the defensive lineman out, and that water puts a nice hit on DeBerg. You're going to try and beat DeBerg up in this game, huh, Fred?
I think that's the goal. The thoughts of Steve DeBerg, as throughout his career, not just to compete, but to help someone else. This year should be different. I'm not the tutor. I'm not the coach. I'm the quarterback. This is Christian Okoye. Okoye missed the entire preseason with a pinched nerve in his neck, making his first appearance of the year.
Okoye looks like an offensive tackle, Fred.
He's big and he's strong. 6'1", 260.
Guy that powerful should put some yardage on the board.
When you're playing and a guy 260 is bearing down on you, what are you going to do?
I go the other way, Fred.
That's exactly what you would do.
If I saw you running at me, I'd run the other way also.
For different reasons.
Yes, that's for sure.
Different reasons.
You're so powerful, Fred.
Thank you. I've worked at it my entire life. 2:50 to play in the quarter. 2nd and 7 for DeBerg. Herman Hurd inside Bronco territory before Alfonso Carricker made the hit. Carricker signed as a Plan B free agent from Green Bay. He was a #1 pick. As a matter of fact, he was the first player that Forrest Gregg took when he was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers.
Sometimes players aren't capable of performing in a certain type of situation defensively or offensively. They can come to another organization and be a tremendous football player.
Because the book in Green Bay was that he was a bit of a disappointment. He had never performed up to his potential.
Just maybe he couldn't fit into their type of game plan. But here he looks like he is.
DeBerg will work out of the shotgun on 3rd and 4. 4 wide receivers in the game. Broncos with 7 defensive backs. Over the middle, he's got a man, and he's got a first down. The rookie Naz Worthen out of North Carolina State. Dennis Smith on the hit, but the Chiefs are moving 1st and 10.
Dennis Smith is probably one of the leaders out there in the Bronco defense, a hard hitter. Does a good job. You know, here's the play right here, and of course, Dennis Smith makes a nice hit. He's the guy that took place of Billy Thompson, who was a great defensive back here, and they compared Dennis Smith to Billy Thompson.
Nice adjustment there by Naz Worthen. He was the 3rd-round pick out of North Carolina State. 1st and 10, Chiefs with their deepest penetration on the Bronco 32. Herman Hurd turning the corner and paying the price. Michael Brooks put a lick on him.
You know, Fred, it looks like Kansas City's beginning to settle now. They're trying to establish their running game. They're gaining some yardage on the ground. The players look a little more settled into their game plan, and now maybe they'll make a game of it. Here's Eatman, pushing the linebacker outside, and of course he's going to take the outside lane, gain some yardage, and of course a nice move there, and he's got some nice yardage.
Hurd picked up 4 yards. Clock is running. 38 seconds to play now in the 1st quarter. The Chiefs are 2nd and 6. Bird and Saxon behind Steve DeBerg. Bird, one more step and he would have broken. Rick Dennison got him around the ankles to drop him.
Bird looks like the workhorse for today's game.
Well, he's the man they went to during the preseason. With Christian Okoye out and struggling with a pinched nerve in his neck, he's going to pick up the action. And that'll be the final play of the first quarter. Well, it didn't start well for Kansas City, but the Chiefs appear to be getting it together now.
As I mentioned before, Kansas City seems now that they've established the running game, and they are now beginning to...
While Alzado, the Chiefs, after falling behind 17-0 in the first quarter, are on the move. 3rd and 3. Play action for DeBerg. He's got James Saxon short of the first down. I think Rick Dennison ripped him down before he picked up the first down. There it comes from the end zone, Lyle.
There's DeBerg throwing a rollout. Nice pickup by Michael Brooks. You know, these Denver players are always in the right place at the right time. That's one of the major reasons why Denver's always had a good defense. Of course, last year they had problems stopping the run. This year looked like doing pretty good.
Nick Lowry, making his first appearance of the season, had held out, came to camp late, and this one will be from about 41 yards. Out of the hole to Ron Jaworski. He's almost always automatic.
They're on the board. That's important for them at this point in the game.
The Chiefs are on the board. It's Denver 17, Kansas City 3.
Field goal.
He loves it. The field is his stage. Bobby Humphrey from the 1-yard line ran into his own man, and that was that.
Do you think you can break those tackles, Fred?
I don't think I would have a prayer breaking those tackles. And while we debate that point, we'll step aside. The Broncos will have the ball when we return to Denver. Rain again. Broncos moving 1st and 10 from their 15-yard line. Jeff Alexander banging his way forward. Dan Reeves told us yesterday the reason he likes Jeff Alexander is because he runs low. He has a low center of gravity, and all you see when he comes at you are shoulder pads and knee pads. Six foot, 232 pounds. Signed as a free agent in '88 out of the Southern University. Give a pickup of 7, so it's 2nd and 3. Bobby Humphrey held short of the first down. Dino Hackett on the stop. All right, we are set for an update. Let's go to NFL Live, and here's Bob Cotter. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob. Neon Dion lighten it up. And here Elway trying to lighten it up on 3rd, and looks like he's held short by Dino Hackett.
Dino Hackett last year was the Kansas City's leading tackler. Good football player.
56 out of Appalachian State.
6'3", 228. He's agile, mobile, and hostile, Fred.
Those are the 3 that make you a good football player. Sammy Winder and Jeff Alexander are flanked behind Elway. That's Vance Johnson in motion. A lot of time, long ball. Nearly picked off. As a matter of fact, Mark Jackson had to play more defense, knocking the ball away from Kevin Ross, who was with him step for step.
Kevin Ross does a nice job not allowing him to get to the outside. Nice defensive play.
Many people consider him underrated.
I guess when Kansas City begins to win, he'll get the recognition he deserves.
Starting to rain now in Denver.
And it will snow in a few moments more.
light drizzle coming down, and people are grabbing the slickers in the stands. New England jumping out to a 14-0 lead over the Jets. 3 wide receivers in the game for the Broncos on 2nd and 10. And Elway just tossed that out. He was under a lot of pressure. Bill Moss was forcing the play for the Chiefs.
Neil Smith has developed into a fine football player.
Number 90, Neil Smith.
And this is what they have to do with Denver. They have to put pressure on Elway. If they don't get in his face, they're going to have problems all day long.
Raiders and Chargers are tied. You heard on NFL Live the report that if Mike Shanahan loses, Gene Upshaw may replace him as coach of the Raiders.
Art Shell.
Art Shell. I'm sorry.
Well, they're
Art Shell.
synonymous with each other. They played so long together alongside each other, so people...
He'd have to leave the Players Union. Gene Upshot to come back and coach the
do
Raiders.
that.
I don't think so. 3rd and 10. The Broncos have 4 wide receivers in the game. Movement on the line. Flags. A lot of time and over the middle. It's nearly picked off by J.C. Pearson.
Football player.
John Elway completed his first 4 passes. His last 4 have been incomplete. On 3rd and 5, he's got Sammy Winder in the backfield, along with Vance Johnson, who starts from back there. And he goes out to Johnson, who is very close to a first down. They started Johnson coming out of the backfield and then hit him, and he's very close to the first down.
Once again, there was pressure on John Elway by Neil Smith. And this is a key to the game now. If they can put pressure on Elway and shut down Denver's offense, they might get back in this.
Broncos, Lou Barnes, the Plan B free agent out of Atlanta, deep for the Chiefs. Moran kicking from his 20. High kick. And it's Barnes on the 23. That's a good play by 59 Tim Lucas, good special teams player. 41-yard kick, 20-yard return. Will return to Denver. Have it. He'll get on that. They'll put him on the weights. DeBerg, 1st and 10. Little play fake over the middle. He's got his man, Emil Harry, and Harry is into Denver Bronco territory. The book on Emil Harry, he's out of Stanford. He is not the fastest receiver in the league. He is not the quickest receiver in the league. He's a Fred Biletnikoff type. If that ball is anywhere near him, he's going to haul it in.
Sometimes guys like that are the most important receiver you have because they're possession receivers. There's DeBerg, nice throw, nice catch, and there's the possession for you. And he always holds on to the ball.
Emil Henry, a degree in international relations.
Does that mean he gets along with you?
One of the few. Harry, Emil Harry. 1st and 10 from the 36. Loose football. This time DeBerg picks it up and pays the price. Mark Munford nailed it. More trouble with the snap.
You know, it surprised me because Kansas City had a long training camp, and Mike Webster and DeBerg should be used to the snap count, used to the feel of the center. I'm surprised that this is taking place.
Maybe the ball's wet now with the rain.
Well, I would think that being in the league as long as Mike has been and DeBerg, I would think that they would be used to that type of situation, whether the ball's wet or not. They can't make those mistakes. There it is again. He was lucky he recovered the ball. It's a good way to get your quarterback killed.
Knocks him 4 yards back. 2nd and 14 from the 40. Christian Okoye, his 2nd carry. And it's really going to take him some time to get back into shape, Lyle, with no preseason at all.
Well, you know, I'm taking a look at him from up here, and he certainly looks like he's in good shape to me. Of course, if he gets into a long game and he carries the ball a number of times, he might need that extra wind.
They're very concerned about him because early in the training camp, he suffered the pinched nerve in the neck and he had some numbness in the hands. And when you're dealing with anything like that,
yes, I did.
You want to take as much time as you can to let him come back. Give Okoye a pickup of 2. It's now 3rd and 12 from the 38-yard line. The Broncos have 7 defensive backs in the game. Kansas City going with 4 wide receivers. The lone setback is Kenny Gamble. There's some movement on the offensive line, and there are flags. And the Chiefs are going backwards. Now it's 3rd and 17 from the 43. 4 wide receivers in the game for Kansas City. DeBerg has time, now flips it out to Kenny Gamble. And Gamble carries it near the 35 before he's dropped by Randy Robbins with help from Tyrone Braxton.
Let's take a look at Rob Thomas here. It's a nice pattern he's running. Of course, he gets free. I don't know where the Denver defenders are, but looks like they're having a foot race there. This is the NCAA championships.
Never known as a great track man, but Thomas racing.
There's Nick, the model.
Kip Corrington. Lowry, 3 for 3 of 50 yards or more in 1988. This is a good one. 54 yards. Had enough, but it was off to the right. So the Broncos take over.
You know, Fred, I played it once
Broncos 1st and 10 from the 37-yard line. Winder and Alexander in the ball game at running backs. It's Sammy Winder. Good hit by the rookie from Alabama, Derek Thomas, number 58. 6'3", 234. First-round pick of Chiefs this season. We're driving to the ball game this morning. We're staying in the Chiefs hotel. We come out of the parking lot, and Derek Thomas is standing on the corner holding a cellular phone outside of the hotel speaking to someone.
Well, he could have been talking to his girlfriend. It could have been a lot of things. Don't you ever stand outside of a hotel with a cellular phone?
On the corner, the street corner? Often. I often do that. 2nd and 8. Alexander behind Elway. Here comes a blitz, but he gets it away, and it's knocked down. Good defensive play there by Kevin Porter. The pass was intended for Mel Bratton out of the backfield, but Porter there to bat the ball away.
Nice pressure by Dino Hackett. You see what I mean about John Elway? He's got such great release. His Hackett, he puts pressure on Elway, but Elway's release is so quick that he does not get in trouble.
You know, there was talk that Dan Reeves becomes conservative after his club jumps out to a big lead on the offensive side of the ball, at least until they get into the other team's striking distance.
They don't seem to be doing that at the moment. They seem to be throwing this all.
You have to expect they'll do it here on 3rd and 8 from the 39-yard line. 4 wide receivers in the game. Mike Young flanked to the top of the screen. With time, and it's picked off. Ball was thrown right to Angelo Snipes. And Snipes is chopped down at the 37-yard line by Jim Juriga. Elway's pass was thrown directly to the linebacker, Angelo Snipes, who comes into the nickel package.
You know, it surprises me. John usually doesn't make those kind of mistakes. Angelo must have had a nice read and saw where John was going to go. And he sat right in the hole there and picked the ball off. Very nice play. Nice read. John's usually able to hide some of those things. And that's his first career interception.
That's one he'll remember.
Absolutely.
Look at the pressure.
You know, they have to get up in John's face.
Well, right now it's Christian Okoye getting into the Broncos' face as he crashes over for 4 or 5 yards before he is stopped by the linebacking core of the Broncos. Back to your thought for a moment on Elway and the Kansas City defense. Yesterday we were told by the Chiefs defensive coordinator that they were going to try to stunt a little bit and confuse John Elway. He's had more problems throwing the ball against the Chiefs than any club in the NFL.
Obviously, John and Dan Reeves has adjusted some of their offensive patterns to adjust to that. And you can see that because their receivers are getting open on a consistent basis, and that's why John's completing the ball.
Well, the Chiefs with a chance to get back in this ball game, trailing 17-3, 6:50 to play in the half. Play action. Look out. Here comes Simon Fletcher. No, the fans want intentional grounding, but the Berg was trying to set up the screen.
See, that's the whole key. Simon Fletcher is the new guy in the Denver defense to put pressure on those quarterbacks. Now, DeBerg thought all his people were covered. He had plenty of time. And, of course, Simon Fletcher, with his great speed and strength, last year he had 110 tackles and 10 quarterback sacks. Had a nice year last year. A lot of his teammates believed he should be in the Pro Bowl. And there it is once again, a lot of pressure.
A defensive end in college, Fletcher was moved to the linebacking spot once he came to the NFL. 7 defensive backs for the Broncos, and the Chiefs go with 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 7.
Oh, they're going to quiet the stadium down, Fred. Remember the noise. This is a football game. No noise.
And now you see a flag.
There it goes.
This will be interesting, Lyle. The flag is for delay of game. You saw the official give red cash in the signal.
Is this on the
read a book? If you want to do a football game, show up.
Absolutely.
3rd and 12. A lot of time for the Bird. The pass is incomplete. Is there a flag? No. Naz Worthen was bumped by Tyrone Braxton, but it looks like Braxton got away with it.
It looked like a penalty to me. It looked like he covered him too hard. His hands were on. It was on him, too.
Tyrone Braxton making the most of his opportunity. When Mark Haynes is healthy, Mark Haynes is going to return to the lineup. But if Braxton keeps playing like this, he's going to be a tough man to move out.
Well, that's the situation. If you get an opportunity to play, you got to make the most of your opportunity. So your position is your position.
Kelly Goodburn. Nice kick, high. And the Chiefs with outstanding special teams play down the ball on the 1-yard line. Kenny Gamble, the man downfield, along with Rob McGovern.
That was a key play that Denver's going to have to start in the 2-yard line. It's 98 yards.
6 minutes and 34 seconds to play in the half. 10th round pick in '88, of course. Boy, you talk about being in a hole. The Broncos starting from their own 3-yard line, 1st and 10. Sammy Winder. Not much going on. Kevin Porter there to put a lick on him. Porter played cornerback in Auburn. He was a 3rd-round pick in 1988. They moved him to the safety spot this year, and they're very pleased with what he's done so far. Let's update those late games around the NFL. Minnesota. A lot of people picked them to win it all. They're up ahead of Houston. New England leading the Jets 21-0. Looks like Mike Shanahan is safe for the time being.
For another week.
Miami ahead of Buffalo.
It's a weekly thing, Fred.
2nd and 8. Jeff Alexander has a lot of running room. They crossed the backs in the backfield, and Alexander was wide open.
That's the misdirection play. To confuse the defense, and they threw the ball to the out. And you get a lot of yardage. Here it is right here. Across the backs of the backfield. There's pressure up front in Elway's face. It's a nice reception.
It's a runaway train. 6 foot, 232 pounds. Another look. When he gets going, you just don't want to stand in front of him.
He's a strong runner.
On 1st and 10, it's that man Alexander this time carrying the ball and crashing over the 35-yard line. Chris Martin teaming with J.C. Pearson on the hit. And a reminder to our viewers that we will be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game. That coming at the conclusion of the game. Where else would you make that decision? You wouldn't do it.
I think that you're the most valuable player so far.
A fine remark, but I don't think so. Clock running, 4:30 to play in the half. Elway and company facing a 2nd and 5 from the 38. Mark Jackson in motion. But the give is to the big back Alexander, and this time he's stacked up. Well, let's give the Chiefs defensive front three some credit now, because they are attempting to contain the run and doing a better job of it than they were earlier in the game.
Well, the adjustment that they've made, Fred, is they're bringing the defensive end down inside on top of the offensive guard to shut the run down. There's no gap to run.
There's an injured man on the field,
and it's Dino Hackett.
And he's grabbing his leg. And he's in pain, and he's not happy, and that can only indicate one thing.
Well, let's hope that that's not the case. Let's hope there's not a knee injury there.
Just last night, we spoke of it earlier, he told us, I'm not wearing a knee brace. I feel great.
Well, it looks like he's walking off the field, so it looks like he'll be okay. As long as a guy walks off the field, he should be capable of playing.
Well, that may be the case.
Yeah, you got to be tough in this game, you know?
Yeah, but if the guy, you
got to chew on people's legs.
And I've heard that's not a pleasant experience.
No, it depends.
On whose leg you're chewing.
That's right.
Let's take a look at exactly what happened. There you see Hackett in the middle of the screen, and you see his leg got bent over right there in the middle of that pile.
If he left his feet, he should have stayed on his feet and slid across to block the hole up.
3rd and 3. Almost intercepted again. He was looking for Mark Jackson, but the pass was closer to Kevin Porter.
Kansas City's doing a good job of hiding those defenses. Looks like it's confusing Elway some.
And again, Neil Smith pressuring Elway on the play.
It looks like he's having a good game today. Haven't heard much from Moss.
Well, he's been clogging the middle as best he can.
Nose tackles are usually quiet when they wham block them.
When they wham block?
That means they try and beat up the nose tackle.
Horan's kick to Lou Barnes. From the 12. Barnes stays on his feet. Lou Barnes. Boy, the second time he had a fine return in this game. Steve Sewell had to bring him down. 47-yard punt and a 20-yard return. 1st and 10. The intended receiver fell down. He was looking for Carlos Carson, but he slipped on the wet turf right around the emblem at the 50-yard line. Carson told us last night that all preseason, DeBerg was going to him because Stephon Page wasn't around. And he said when Stephon finally got to camp, he said, all right, now it's your turn to finally run. And, of course, Stephon isn't playing today.
I think DeBerg, when he gets in trouble, will go to Carson. I believe he's the best receiver. He believes he's the best receiver. And last night when we spoke with him, he seemed calm and at ease, and he really believed Kansas City had a good football team this year.
Well, how do you feel sitting up here in the booth instead of being down on the field?
I think it's lovely being with you, Fred.
Thank you.
Lovely.
It's been the most rewarding experience of my life so far.
Mine too. Thanks, Fred.
Worth in motion. Over the middle, he's got his man, the tight end, Jonathan Hayes, and he is immediately dropped on the play by Rick Dennison, number 55, and Michael Brooks, number 56. Hayes is a little slow getting up as well, Lyle. 3. They've got 4 wide receivers in the game for the Chiefs, 8 defensive backs for Denver. Lots of time over the middle. He's got Worthen in a 1st down for the Chiefs, the rookie out of North Carolina State. Naz Worthen, named by his father after a racehorse, Nasrallah O'Nia.
I was named after my father's pet cow.
Take a look at it.
Naz, that's a nice move to the inside. See, now that D-back should have been up on top of him. Nice catch. He got open. That's very nice.
Have a report now on Dino Hackett. He has a sprained right ankle. They're taking him into the locker room to check him.
See, now, ankle shouldn't be a bad enough injury to move out of the game. Play with it.
But we'll see if he returns. They're going to x-ray him in the locker room. 1st and 10 from the 43. Dumps it over the middle to Carson, who makes the reception, a 7-yard pickup before Mark Munford drops him. And that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. So the Chiefs are trailing 17-3, but they're threatening. And will return to. He's had 1 picked off, and that was returned for a touchdown. Carlos Carson, he's got the ball, and he's inside the 10-yard line. Nice adjustment by Carson, who used his body to block the defender Braxton and haul it in.
DeBerg sees Carlos Carson. He fades one way and goes to Carlos again. You see, now I said before that when they get in trouble and they need to have a big play, they're going to go to Carlos. And that's exactly what they did.
Chiefs are inside. Herman Hurd looks for a block. He is not in. Andre Townsend finally set him down. Hurd very close to the goal line. And the Chiefs use their 2nd timeout. Herman Hurd is versatile. Now, he had some problems last year. He missed 4 games with a separated shoulder, and he missed the first 2 games of the preseason with a groin injury. But when he is healthy, he's a very talented running back. Ooh. Lucky they reset. Gamble did not get in. And I'll tell you what, the Chiefs are very lucky because one of their backs flipped a little bit and then reset, or they could have been hit. It was James Saxon that moved.
Well, before the Denver Broncos have had problems keeping people out of the end zone. And, of course, now that they're bigger up front, they're physically strong enough to push that line of scrimmage back so they can't jump over there. See, Denver has gotten stronger up front, and that's because Wade Phillips and Earl Leggett make those guys lift weights, eat a lot of food.
Be mean.
Be mean.
Saxon and Gamble in the ball game. It's 3rd and goal from the 1. Big play for the Chiefs. Gamble. No, he didn't get in.
That certainly is a change from previous years that the Denver Broncos would be able to keep somebody out of the end zone on short yardage.
Lyle, that's the 2nd time in this situation that Mark Munford has sliced through to stop Kenny Gamble.
Well, I think Earl Leggett and Wade Phillips have put up a defensive scheme so that they free that backer up so that he can make the hit to stop the running back from getting in the end zone.
Munford playing for the injured Carl Mecklenburg. Munford works around town as a handyman.
You know, Denver's defense is playing awfully well, but can you imagine if they had Mecklenburg back?
Wow.
Wow.
Now they're trying to make a decision. Are we going to kick a field goal or go for it? And DeBerg running off to talk to Marty Schottenheimer.
I think Marty's going to go for it.
They better go for it pretty quick. The clock is running, and now the rain is coming down at a pretty good clip here.
unless he's going to go over Mike Webster.
Let's watch. Gamble, touchdown!
And what did I say? Went right over Mike Webster because he's the strongest guy up front. He got the good push. Denver's line was pushed back. Touchdown, Kansas City.
And the confidence that that offensive line has to have right now.
That's what instills confidence. When you're in a situation that's a possibility of failing. Marty said to his team, okay, we're going for it. DeBerg hands off. There's the play. There's the confidence. And there's the touchdown.
Well, it took him a while, but the end result was a touchdown.
And that's most important.
The Chiefs are back in this ball game. You see the rain coming down. To make the exchange difficult in a situation like this, field goal point after attempt. There's a flag. The Broncos were offside. 26 seconds to play in the half. Bobby Humphrey, 5 yards deep, makes the right move and downs it. You may have heard the thunder and lightning. Now it's coming down at a pretty good clip here. And this situation continues like this in the second half. Starting from their own 20 on 1st and 10. Breton in motion, but it is Alexander over the left tackle to the 25-yard line. They're heading for the locker room to get out of the rain. You see the clock counting down, and that'll be the final play of the first half.
Well, Fred, this looks like it's a game. Of course, Kansas City has to come out and be capable of doing the same thing again.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer started off slowly. His club has come back and played effectively now. The Denver Broncos, the end of the game.
No, that's not quite true. This could be 45-0, Frederick.
But it wouldn't be over to the final gun sounding.
Nah, not really. We could go home now.
Well, we could, or they could play faster. So the Chiefs, who scored at the end of the first half, get the ball to start the second half. It's Danny Copeland from the goal line. Slicing his way forward to the 27 before he's stopped by the rookie out of Arkansas, Steve Atwater. Check the comparison out between the quarterbacks, Lyle.
DeBerg, 11 of 16 for 228 yards, 1 interception. Elway, which is a surprise, 6 for 13 for 56 yards. Where are the three amigos? You know, yesterday at practice, John looked a little upset. I don't know what it was about, but he didn't look very secure with what he was doing. And of course, the departure of Mike Shanahan to the Raiders head coach could be confusing to John.
Especially last year, because he's still trying to reacclimate himself to a new offensive coaching staff. 1st and 10 from the 27. Herman Hurd turns it upfield. Over the 35-yard line before Steve Atwater brought him down. We've said it many times. If he's healthy, he's a player.
Herman Hurd is a very good player and a key player for Kansas City. He makes a nice cut here, nice hand up by DeBerg, obviously. He makes a nice cut upfield, and he's a strong back. Look at this. Nice. As I said before, Kansas City seems to be in the flow of their running game now. They've established that. And maybe that will open up DeBerg's passing game.
Hurd slips down and loses yardage. That's right around the infield where the Denver Zephyrs play baseball.
Right, Fred. The Denver Zephyrs baseball team here, AAA baseball team that play baseball. And, of course, this is soft sod on that type of field, on that part of the field. And that created a situation where Hurd slipped.
I think that sod was put in a week ago Friday, and they told us that it's in pretty good shape. And they have a fine drainage system underneath the stadium here. Nonetheless, it's still going to be slick.
You can see that the field is a little bit torn up where it's soft.
There's the diamond. And they're just about the outline near second base on the field now. 7 wide receivers in the game. Check that, defensive backs. Nearly picked off by Tyrone Braxton, who would have had a second interception.
You know, Fred, surprisingly, Kansas City's offensive line has given DeBerg plenty of time to throw the ball. Where is Fletcher? How come they're not sending him? That's a surprise.
Well, he threw into triple coverage.
Now here comes Fletcher. Now he should be get rid of this tackle and put pressure on Elway. On DeBerg.
Good kick by Goodburn. It's Ken Bell. Runs into his own man and finally comes down at the 20-yard line. Darren Carrington down on the stop for the Broncos. A 54-yard kick and a 9-yard return. Carrington actually tackling his own man.
Well, that's important to be capable of doing.
But it's preferable to tackle the guy on the other team.
Point and note, Fred. Thank you.
There's the stat. Elway thrown 5 touchdowns and 21 interceptions against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, Kansas City's defensive backfield, led by Deion Cherry, is quite talented. They're one of the best in the NFL.
Dino Hackett is not playing here in the second half with a sprained right ankle. McGovern is in for the Chiefs, and Bobby Humphrey is dropped behind the line of scrimmage by Albert Lewis. Albert Lewis and Deron Cherry have a unique relationship. Albert Lewis is dating at this time Deron Cherry's wife's sister.
If you saw those two girls, you'd want to date one of them also, Fred.
I understand.
Gorgeous isn't the word.
And we talked about it last night, and I said, now, do you ever have any family fights? Do you ever battle each other? And they said, you don't fight with women that good looking.
That's right. You say, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am.
Here's McGovern, who's filling in for Dino Hackett.
So that's a nice play by him, except that he got to keep his feet.
2nd and 14, Elway over the middle. He's got the tight end, Pat Kelly, and Kelly back to the original line of scrimmage before McGovern is in on the hit. McGovern is 6'2", 223 pounds. Interesting story, a 10th round draft pick this year out of Holy Cross. He was...
Holy Cross?
Holy Cross. You know, he won a very prestigious award in New England, the New England Gold Helmet Award. Players like Doug Flutie and Gordy Lockbaum have captured that award, and he was very highly thought of. One of only 4 Holy Cross guys that came to camp to survive and make the Chiefs.
Okay, this looks like the 3 amigos.
4 wide receivers in the game for Elway. With time, and the ball is picked off. It's intercepted. Good play. It's Albert Lewis stepping in front of Ricky Nattiel.
Picked off again. Fred, as I mentioned before, the departure of Shanahan could create a lot of confusion for John Elway. And I think John is having a problem with this.
Well, as the Chiefs regroup and try to put more points on the board, we'll step aside. Kansas City will have the ball when we return to Mile High Stadium in Denver. After the turnover, Chiefs 1st and 10 from the Denver 37. DeBerg, he's got Harry once again, that same pattern that has burned the Broncos all afternoon long, and Emil Harry for the first down. Let's take a look at that interception. A great play.
Kansas City's driving again.
From the 15-yard line, markers on the play, and it's going to be blown dead. Christian Okoye with room up the middle. Okoye to the 10-yard line and inside the 10 before he's dropped by Steve Atwater and Michael Brooks. Another look at the hard-hitting Christian Okoye.
It seems as though Denver's defense is overplaying. And, of course, you see the linebacker going around the block. He can't do that. He didn't shut off the gap. He's got to go across the face of the tackle, so he shuts off the inside gap. And that's why Okoye got the running room.
Give him a pickup of 11. 2nd and 4. Okoye near the 5-yard line. When they picked Christian Okoye, many people said, who? From where? Azusa Pacific. We had a chance to see him play in Southern California in college, and you knew he was going to be a good one. But a lot of the players from younger schools are overlooked.
But if you notice what they're doing, they're running behind Mike Webster. Mike is clearing out the middle, and they're able to run through those inside gaps. That's where the holes are coming from, upside in the middle with Mike.
Dan Reeves has just in 3 more defensive linemen. Saxon, first down, Kansas City inside the 5-yard line. He ran over Scott Curtis, who then made the hit.
If you watch Mike Webster on this play, you'll see he's drive blocking people, opening up a hole, so that the running back can get through that. Not at this situation, but normally in the last 2 drives, Mike has cleared his man out so they can have an inside gap so the ball carrier can get some running room.
16 years he's been in the NFL.
9 Pro Bowls, Fred. Quite a player. He's just solidified that Kansas City offensive line.
From the 4-yard line, play action. The Bird's got a man. He got the ball. Oh! He wants a place to hide, but there's no place big enough to hold him. James Saxon had 6 points and dropped the ball.
It was a tight game, Fred. You can't make mental mistakes like that. You just have to come through and do a job when you're asked to do it.
Good fake.
Nice fake up in the middle. Nice throw by DeBerg. This is an interesting situation that Kansas City uses. The fake and let the defensive pursue one way and go back the other way.
This time it's Gamble up the middle, short of the goal line. You hear so much about Steve DeBerg as a player. One thing everybody will tell you, he is a student of the game. He has watched more game film than any of the coaches on the Kansas City staff, and he really is meticulous in his execution. Like that
Fred,
fake.
and having Marty as a bright a coach as he is and innovative.
James Saxon wasn't feeling very good at this point, but there's
and right there is exactly what he needed. Kansas City will score on this play.
Gamble, good defensive play. Michael Brooks chopping Kenny Gamble down and saving a touchdown.
Nice read. Looks like he backs up a little bit here. Berg throws the out pattern to the back. Nice play. It's very difficult to make a tackle one-on-one like that in the open field. Usually the back has the advantage. And there's Marty talking to his player. He's probably saying, good job, kid.
Nick Lowry.
That's the model.
23-yard field goal attempt. And slowly but surely, the Chiefs have inched their way back into this ball game. 6:43 to play in the third quarter. And the Chiefs pick up 3 on the field goal. Here's Ken Bell on the 6-yard line. Kenny Bell, good special teams player. Over the 25 before he's dropped by Chris Dressel, the reserve tight end, number 82. Next Sunday, join us on NBC Football. Some of you... Elway will start from his own 28, 1st and 10. Over the middle, and we have to give the umpire credit for that play because he did as much to disrupt the pattern as the Kansas City defensive backs.
The ball was also thrown low.
Pat Kelly, the man that made the reception, the tight end. Let's check the 10-minute ticker now. Minnesota well ahead of Houston at the half.
Walloping Houston.
Philadelphia handling Seattle easily.
Of course, New England's on top of the Jets, 21-7, third quarter.
Buffalo and Miami are now tied at 10.
Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Cleveland 30-0 over Pittsburgh.
I don't know if Pittsburgh wants to go to that concede rule. You're allowed to concede at a certain point if you're down by 30 after 3 quarters. Elway on 2nd and 5. Rolls out, buys time, throws back, and he's got a man. It's Vance Johnson, and Johnson has a first down at the Kansas City 45-yard line. Rob McGovern defensively for the Chiefs. He simply rolled out to avoid the rush and then found the open man.
John is John is capable of doing things like this, rolling out of the pocket, throwing across the field. Not many quarterbacks have the strength in the arm to be able to do that. And of course, it's one of John's strengths.
21-yard pickup. The Broncos are now moving from the 46, 1st and 10. Fake to Winder, same play, rolling out to the left, and rolling out of bounds wisely because Mike Bell had his sights set on him.
It doesn't look like John Elway feels very confident throwing the ball downfield. Now, it looks like he's throwing to his backside of the backfield, short patterns. Kansas City's defensive backs might have John leery of them.
During the offseason, John and his wife gave birth to their third child, a boy, John Elway III, but they will call him Jack, I should say, in honor of his dad, Jack Elway. It's nice.
A proud father.
Indeed. Indeed. Sammy Winder, up the middle, not much. Looked like big Neil Smith stuck his hand out and grabbed him by the foot. Neil Smith, top pick out of Nebraska last season, 6'4", 271. Last year he recorded 2 sacks. Last week in the preseason he recorded 2 sacks, and they're saying he is finally grasping the system and finally becoming the kind of player that they can count on.
Fred, sometimes it takes a couple of years for a player to develop into a system. This guy has got a lot of talent, and obviously he's doing the job they expect of him.
4 wide receivers in the game. Some movement on the Kansas City line. No flag, though. And Elway over the middle to Mark Jackson, and he is drilled by Kevin Ross. That's a first down for Denver.
That was a beautifully run pattern, Fred.
Leonard Griffin was pressuring Elway on the play. He paid the price for that reception.
He certainly did. It's a shotgun formation. John drops back. Sees Jackson, makes a nice reception. You know, the 3 amigos are involved in the sickle cell association.
And each time one of them scores a touchdown, money will be donated.
A very worthy cause.
Here's Jeff Alexander. You heard the pop with the pads of number 50, Rob McGovern.
The flow of the game seems to have changed, Fred.
Is
that Alzado?
No.
That's not him.
No, I don't think you'd call it a fight. Just a minor disagreement.
A push.
Clarence Kay involved down there.
A push. A nice push.
Kevin Ross. Still no update on the condition of Dino Hackett, and I know the folks in Kansas City are concerned. When you've got a Pro Bowl player, you don't want him to be out for 1 second, and he has not come out of the locker room to our knowledge yet. Elway ducks it out to Sammy Winder. Winder breaks a tackle, turns it upfield. And he's out at the 11-yard line. Lewis finally pushed him out of bounds.
You notice once again, Fred, John is going to his short passes. And obviously he's having some success with it.
Well, I have to question this, Lyle. Knowing that Dino Hackett is not in the game, you throw the ball out to Sammy Winder, and that would be a linebacker's responsibility, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You know, you shouldn't push it back when he's got the ball. You got to hit him.
You got to get him any way you can.
This isn't two-hand touch, is it?
I don't think so.
Flag football?
I don't think so. They're 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line now. Jeff Alexander trying to pick up a block. And Walker Lee Ashley, the Plan B free agent signed out of Minnesota, making the hit. Ashley's always been a good football player, Lyle. It's just he didn't have much of an opportunity to play because in Minnesota he was stuck behind Scott Studwell, and once he had the chance to sign with another club, he took it. Let's pause briefly now for station identification. 3rd quarter, and folks, we've got ourselves a ball game. It's the Broncos leading the Chiefs 17-13, but Denver threatening 2nd and 10 from the 11-yard line. Fake to both backs. Jeff Alexander. And the Chiefs doing a good job of forcing Alexander out of bounds.
And once again, Fred, misdirection in the backfield to confuse and hold the linebackers for Kansas City. Of course, he was successful throwing the ball out to the back.
Kevin Ross, they call him the Rock, and he was the rock of the corner there, knocking him out of bounds.
He does. He has very large, muscular arms. Nice play. Of course, John did a nice job of reading, holding the linebackers there and completing the ball.
3rd and 8. They're working from the 9-yard line. The Broncos have used a good portion of the clock trying to cash it in. They've got 4 wide receivers in the game. Sewell, the lone setback. A lot of time for Elway. Touchdown!
Here's John Elway. This is what you call a rocket arm. Look at this pass. Threaded it between three defenders. Tremendous pass. Tremendous catch.
Yeah.
There's John. He's got himself a nice touchdown.
Good job on the snap. Gary Kubiak getting it down. And the Broncos now lead 24-13. Elway has. You give a guy with an arm like John Elway has that much time, he's going to connect.
That ball went about 142 miles an hour.
David Treadwell, whatever he's doing, it's working this week, into the end zone. And there's an altercation at the 20-yard line. Jonathan Hayes is in there. Lewis Cooper is in there. Alfonso Carricker in the pile for the Broncos, as was Michael Brooks. Try to get it right back or stick with the game plan and just patiently move down the field.
Marty's philosophy is to establish the ground game, control the ball that way, and then go to the pass, and that's what I believe they'll do.
Carson to the top of the screen, Emil Harry to the bottom. Screen pass to Herman Hurd. Hurd had blockers in front of him, but Steve Atwater got in there and dropped him. Check the 10-minute ticker. See what else is going on around the league.
Minnesota over Houston 24-7 in the third.
Well, the
Philadelphia over Seattle 24-7.
Jets are trying to get back into it. Still trail 21-10. San Diego making a game of it at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Cleveland 44-0. And this has to be a surprise. Buffalo and Miami still tied at 10 in the third. 2nd and 4. Herman Hurd. Michael Brooks has counted. He had help from Greg Cragen on the play. Michael Brooks is an interesting story. He tore up his knee his senior year at LSU. Otherwise, he really would have been a first-round pick. Instead, because of the injury and the rehabilitation, they took him in the 3rd round, and he has turned out to be an outstanding player selected in the 3rd round of 1987. He's the man that replaced Jim Ryan at that position.
And a bigger player, once again, a more physical player, just what the Broncos needed.
That's time remaining in the 3rd quarter.
It's a good game, Fred.
4 wide receivers for the Berg. Rob Thomas, the rookie out of Oregon State. Lost the football, fumble. The question is, had the whistle blown? Or does Dennis Smith have a recovery? You can tell by the crowd, the Broncos have it.
That's right. His knees wasn't on the ground. That's right. It's a fumble recovery. Dennis hit, nice recovery.
He stripped the ball from him, basically, just took it away.
Dennis Smith's a fine player.
Dennis Smith, 6'3", 200 pounds. Rob Thomas, the receiver, 5'11", 171 pounds. You can see the difference in the physical size and strength.
When Dennis Smith hits you, you know it. He'll whack you good.
Broncos on their 30, a chance to cash in. Humphrey diving forward. And that will end the 3rd quarter of play. For the Broncos trying to capitalize on another Chief turnover, have the lead.
And that's a technique that's taught by the coaches.
Bobby Humphrey, the lone setback behind Elway. Humphrey back to the line of scrimmage. Derek Thomas on the stop.
Deion Cherry is a guy that'll make you pay if you carry the ball or throw the ball in his area. This guy's been in the Pro Bowl. He's one of the best players in the league. Isn't that something? Now that's the kind of player I like. If he step on him, crush him, tear his face up, and then help him up. Good job, kid.
And that's the way this game should be played.
That's the way to do it.
Sewell in motion. What? Movement on the line. Winder. First down. Sammy Winder, very interesting story. He drives a semi-truck to work in Mississippi.
He's probably trying to save gas.
He'll plow you over. Here he is now.
Now this is nice play here. See, what they're doing is they're pushing Kansas City's defensive line down the line of scrimmage. And there's Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher and I played linebacker. He played linebacker in Cleveland when I was a defensive end. Fine coach.
Defensive
a heck of a player, too.
Defensive coordinator now. Here's Humphrey. Over the left side, Bobby Humphrey. Stopped by Rob McGovern. Talking about Sammy Winder, 23. He owns a construction company in Mississippi, and he enjoys collecting cars. One day he says, I think I'll buy a semi and drive that to work. So he's driving down the road in a semi. One time he brought a tractor, and he drove that to work. Got a lot of time on his hands during the off-season, obviously.
What do you drive to work, Fred?
I walk. Second and 6, both wideouts to our side of the field. With time off the hands of Pat Kelly.
Looks like John threw that ball a little hard, huh, Fred?
And that's a problem at times with that way. He throws the ball so hard they can't hold on to it.
Minnesota over Houston 24-7. Philadelphia all over Seattle 24-7. Of course, New England's on top of the Jets 21-17. Miami on top of Buffalo 17-10.
That's no mistake either. That is the correct score, and that's a surprise.
Certainly is.
The Bills aren't doing anything to help themselves in that contest. They've turned the ball over a number of times. This is a big play for us here. 4 wide receivers in the game for Denver. Out to Winder. Bill Moss stops him short of the first down. Trailing the play, Moss drops him. No Moss.
That's why, a la Duran, that's why Moss is a Pro Bowl player. Did you see the pursuit from the middle of the field all the way across to catch that ball and the receiver? That's what makes him a great player. Here it is right here. Moss reads it very well. John throws the ball out to Winder. Moss catches him on the cutback. And that's why he's such a great player. There's Moss from the other side, pursuing the play from the back end. Winder makes the cut, and Moss makes the hit. Very nice.
Treadwell attempting a 30-yard field goal out of the hold of Kubiak. David Treadwell extending the Denver lead. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
To change something to help that situation. Dan Reeves has been successful here.
It's Gamble on the 5. Upended at the 22-yard line by Richard Shelton. This telecast is for Chiefs 1st and 10 from the 22. They've got 11 minutes and 52 seconds to get back into this game, and they trail 27-13. The Bird for Carlos Carson. They're picking on Tyrone Braxton over there.
As we said before, Fred, he's a big play. He's going to go to Carlos Carson.
They certainly gave DeBerg a lot of time to get rid of the
Mike
ball.
Webster doing a perfect job of blocking once again. Of course, he's got help from the offensive guard, but moves his man out of there. Nice pass by DeBerg. Nice catch by Carlos.
Nice shot by the cameraman. 26-yard pickup for Carlos Carson and the Chiefs. A Pro Bowler in '83 and also 1987.
And a very nice young man. Very quiet and nice.
This time for the tight end. Good catch. Chris Dressel going high to haul it in. Marty Schottenheimer brought the big tight end with him from Cleveland. Of the 3 tight ends on the Kansas City roster, he's got the best hands, and you saw the soft hands right there.
DeBerg put it in there perfectly. There he is right here. Dropping back. He looks off one receiver, goes to a secondary receiver, and there it is, the big tight end. Nice catch, nice grab. They're on the move.
He went to Stanford. He was one of John Elway's favorite receivers while playing with Elway as a member of the Stanford Cardinal. from the 29-yard line, 1st and 10. Here comes Alfonso Carricker, and they try to dump the screen off, and that was a dangerous play. Carricker coming hard from the left side. They tried to drop the screen off to Herman Hurd and nearly had that ball picked off.
Well, something happened. Someone made a mistake because the back got lost inside those linemen. The lineman needs to clear the back so he can catch the ball and make the blocks for him. Here's Carlos Carson. It looks like he was open, and DeBerg didn't see him.
Was he
right here? See, that's what I mean by looking off your secondary receiver, your primary receiver, and going to your secondary receiver.
Fake to Hurd. Over the middle to Worthen, the rookie. He's got it. It's a 1st down inside the 10-yard line. Kip Corrington on the stop. But Naz Worthen, the 3rd-round pick out of NC State.
Fred, I keep wondering where Fletcher is. They're supposed to send Fletcher to put pressure on DeBerg. It has not happened all day long.
Lyle, it's amazing how high he went up. He is 5'8", 177 pounds. Look at him go up with that ball.
That's why they call him the popcorn.
Wow.
He's just popping up there. I'd like to see this guy dance some night, you know that?
Runs a 4.6 140, one of the quickest men on the club.
I do that on my motorcycle.
1st and goal. Chiefs moving from the 8.
DeBerg's got him moving.
3 wide receivers in the game. Some trouble on the exchange. A lot of time, and a completion to Worthen inside the 5. Simon Fletcher was there to make the hit along with Wyman Henderson, but the Chiefs were lucky there because there was a problem on the exchange again.
Well, it was a very nice catch by Worthen. You know, the thing that's happening here, his receivers are running exact patterns, and that's why DeBerg's being able to complete those passes. It's a very complicated situation when you change an offensive situation to run exact patterns and do it the right way so they can complete the ball, especially in a new system.
Clock is running, 8:50. 8 minutes and 50 seconds to play. 2nd and goal from the 4. Hurd. Michael Brooks on the stop.
What a game he's having. He's the guy with big biceps.
Now, how much of a difference does big biceps make?
I have no idea. There he is right now. They have high hopes for him, and he's having a whale of a game.
Well, there was a missed assignment there.
Somebody missed an assignment.
Clock continues to run. 3rd and goal from the 5. 3 receivers in the game. That's the tight end, Jonathan Hayes, in motion. DeBerg.
Plenty of time.
Carlos Carson, he overthrew him. Check that, he was shooting for Emil Harry. The ball was high. Dennis Smith had him defensively, and Harry claims he was pushed from behind by Dennis Smith. Emil Harry doesn't buy that call one bit.
Here's Simon Fletcher. This is the guy that they're counting on to put the pressure on the quarterback all year long. He should run over this back, knock him down, get to DeBerg. That's great hustle by Fletcher. Very nice hustle.
And Herman Hurd did a good job of keeping him out.
Certainly did.
Do we have a pass interference there? Well, Harry thought he was interfered with. The official said no. 4th down. And DeBerg, rather than just walking up to the line of scrimmage, says, let's take a minute and talk this over. This play for Kansas City, 4th and goal from the 5. Lyle, who do we look for?
I'm looking for Chris Dressel. I think Marty and DeBerg, remember the catch he made before? They're going to go to him again.
Touchdown. Carlos Carson.
They need the big play, Fred, and they went to Carlos Carson again.
That's a gutsy call, 4th and 5.
You know, we think that because Dressel made that tremendous catch before they go there, but you could see that when they need a big play, Carlos is their man, and there he goes. Great catch, great play, great move.
He ran by Dennis Smith.
And that's unusual. Dennis is a great football player. As you are, Fred.
In my dreams. Lowry tacked on the extra point. The Chiefs refuse to lay down. They've continued to hang in, and it's still a game with 7:50 to play.
Marty's new offense.
DeBerg with a happy man.
Needless to say, DeBerg is jubilant over that play.
Bobby Humphrey crashing his way to the 20, and that is where the Broncos will start 1st and 10. Take a look at DeBerg.
He's not happy, is he? He's got his team on a roll. There's a great pass, great pattern, great call.
He's 20 of 29 for 233 yards, 1 interception, and the touchdown.
You know, I look at him and I'm glad for him. It's the first time he's been in a situation no young stud is looking to take his place. It's his job.
In San Francisco, he had to train a gentleman by the name of
Joe Montana.
In Denver, he trained
John Elway.
In Tampa Bay,
Testaverde.
Now he's the man.
It's the bird.
Elway. And he misread the pattern. Jackson just broke in, and Elway threw the ball to the outside.
And the
he
pressure
also
was there. He felt the pressure, Fred, and that's why he released the ball as quickly as he did. Chris Martin is the man. Here we go. Chris Martin breaks through on the inside. John felt that pressure and released the ball before he should have. John doesn't seem to be having a day that he's very happy with.
Again,
he's not a happy camper, Fred.
Well, again, it's the Chiefs. They told us that they were going to try and stunt and confuse Elway, so he couldn't read the defense when he stepped up to the line of scrimmage.
And obviously successful at it right now.
7:40 to play in the ball game. As time has a man in a first down. Clarence Kay, the big tight end, with a reception.
Okay, Minnesota over Houston 31-7. Philadelphia on top of Seattle 24-7.
Check the Jets. The Jets
on top of New England. 24-21. The Raiders 28-14 over San Diego. Cleveland 44-zip over Pittsburgh. And Miami 17-13 over Buffalo.
Here's the inside gift to Bobby Humphrey. Took a lick.
Delayed draw, Fred. They didn't fool anybody. Kansas City was right there to make the stop.
Clock continues to run. 6:40 to play in the game. And it's Denver leading Kansas City 27-20. Let's look at 54 in white. Walker Lee Ashley putting a lick on Bobby Humphrey.
This is a tremendous hit. That's the perfect way to hit people. Right in the numbers. Pow!
Walker Lee Ashley, he wanted a chance to play. He waited a long time in Minnesota. He said, forget about it. Studwell's never going to retire. I'm going to get out here and play with somebody who'll give me a chance.
Scott's been there 42 years.
Lot of time. Clarence Kay turns it upfield. Albert Lewis then did a good job of knocking him down, but not before the big tight end of the Broncos picked up first down yardage.
John always looks like he's smiling, Fred.
Or grimacing.
You know, John has so much time to throw the ball. Look at this right here. Now, Kansas City's got to be blitzing somebody. They've got to change up a little bit to put pressure on Elway. If he's got all that time back there, this is what's going to happen. And Kansas City's going to be in trouble.
But what's interesting here is that Elway is not able to go to those wide receivers because of the secondary. So he's going to Clarence Kay more in this game than he normally would.
And that happened a quarter and a half ago. He's intimidated by Kansas City's secondary.
Sammy Winder.
That was the forgotten play. Dive him up the middle.
Well, there we go. 5:06 to play. You see the clock running, and Denver clinging to a 7-point lead. The Chiefs turned the ball over 2 times in the first half and also turned it over here in the second half. Eliminate the turnovers, and they lead in this game.
Their principle of running the football and throwing the football always has an opportunity to come back and score big points. He did it in Cleveland on Schottenheimer, and he's doing it here.
Play action. Across the field to Clarence Kay. One of the reasons they don't go to Clarence Kay much is because he's a better blocker than he is a pass receiver.
One of John's strengths is being capable of throwing across the field. That's a very difficult pattern to defend against and to read. And obviously, Clarence was open there and dropped the ball. You've got to be capable, and you have to understand, your concentration has to be there to make those catches. Those plays are big plays. You have to make the catch.
Denver has converted 50% of the time on third down situations. Four wide receivers in the game for the Broncos. Here they come. Elway avoids the rush and throws it away. I thought he was nearly in the grass back there.
He got hit twice and was able to escape. You know, that's why John is considered one of the best quarterbacks in football. His athletic ability. He's able to maneuver in situations that are very tight and tough. Look at this situation here. Someone's got him by his legs already. Someone hits him on top, and he still gets out of it. That's tremendous balance, tremendous athletic ability. And there he's firing the ball about 400 miles an hour.
And it's easy to knock down a guy when he's rushing Derek Thomas, and you grab him by the face mask and throw him down.
Step on him.
That's about what happened.
Get the job done.
That's why he didn't get in. Horan, one of the best in the business at the coffin corner. Oh, look at that punt. Beautiful kick. Beautiful. They mark it at the 9-yard line. All right, a reminder, folks, next Saturday, NBC Sports keeps pace with Berg, trying to get the Chiefs back into the end zone and tie the game, starting from his 10. He's got a man in a first down. It's Emil Harry. His routes are the most precise on the ball club.
Marty Schottenheimer has a reputation of making sure his offensive system is very precise. When your receivers run precise patterns, it's easy for the quarterback to pick out his receiver, his primary receiver or his secondary receiver, and make the completion. And this is what Kansas City's receivers are doing and running exact patterns.
Man waiting in the wing.
Ron Jaworski played against him many times, could never catch him.
Well, what a rifle arm he's got.
Certainly has.
DeBerg. There's a flag on the interior line. As a marker on the play, the pass was complete. But when you throw that flag right into the interior line, back for the score, Fredwell.
Well, the dance is continuing.
It's continuing. It's not over, but the Chiefs certainly have their work cut out for them now.
3 minutes left. It's a long climb, 34-20.
And what is so disheartening for the Kansas City Chiefs is, again, without those turnovers, it's a different ball game.
On the verge of taking control of the game, a mistake pushes him right back.
And you point out over and over DeBerg's inability, at least in key situations today, to look off the defensive back rather than focusing right on the man he's going to throw the ball to.
Well said, Fred. Here it is, DeBerg looking directly at his receiver. His primary receiver does not look him off. The interception, the touchdown, they're behind 34-20. Here's DeBerg. I hope he doesn't make the tackle here. I mean, quarterback's getting hurt.
I'll tell you one thing, he's hurting emotionally right now.
Oh, I'm sure he is. You know, DeBerg's a fine quarterback, but, you know, once again, you got to remember Denver's defense.
Copeland and Gamble deep. And Gamble is driven 7 yards deep in the end zone.
Very inconsistent.
They haven't won the division this year. They better start playing.
That's right.
3 minutes and 5 seconds to play. Pass is tipped at the line, and Carlos Carson is not going to come up with it. Steve Atwater tipped the ball, and Carson trapped it.
Once again, in a critical situation, critical part of the game, they go to the guy they believe in. As we asked him and had dinner with him the other night, we asked him, will they go to you if the situation is critical? And they are, and they will. DeBerg trying to get something going.
35 years young. 5 years younger than you are.
Yes, but I'm built better.
That's a matter of opinion. With time, he's got Thomas, and he dropped the ball. Now, that could be a direct result of earlier when he caught it and had Dennis Smith strip it away. I think he heard footsteps there.
Could have been. Sometimes you get hit like that, and Dennis Smith is around, you lose your concentration. But in a situation like this, it's important to keep your concentration, to hold on to the ball, to make those yardage. They're in a bad spot right now, Kansas City. And that ball should have been caught.
We understand there's about 10 minutes to play in the Miami-Buffalo game, with the Dolphins leading the Bills. We'll keep you posted on the score there. Here at Mile High, 2:55 to play. A lot of time, and now he goes down. He just didn't get rid of the ball.
It seemed like a lot of time. Obviously, the Denver defensive backs had great coverage, and DeBerg couldn't find a place to dump the ball. Simon Fletcher, the guy that they're counting on to put a great deal of pressure on DeBerg. And there he is right there. Nice spin move. That's a great technique. It's called the outside spin. Very nice. Takes a long time for defensive linemen to learn that.
Good burn to Ken Bell. Under 33. Nice return by Bell. Close to midfield before he's sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP is none other than Tyrone Braxton of the Denver Broncos. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game.
I thought you and I should get the award.
We'll get it next week, and we'll come back after these words.
Against a team that has been in the playoffs for a number of years, a sound team, a well-coached team, and you know, Kansas City normally in other situations could have been blown out of this thing, because they were behind 17-3 and hung in there, played good football, made some mistakes, and the mistakes are the reason why they got beat.
Our thanks this afternoon to Statman Ray Friedman and spotters Merritt Cohn and Mark Friedman. Nice job, guys. We appreciate it.
Great camera work, too. Nice shots of you, Fred. You're so cute.
Please, Lyle. Save that for later.
Okay.
50 seconds left. As for the Broncos, next week they have the Buffalo Bills on Monday night.
It should be a very interesting game, especially if Buffalo loses to Miami today, and they are behind the Miami Dolphins. Has Don Shula recreated the great Miami teams of the 70s into the late 80s? Has he changed over enough to create a winning situation to Miami finally?
Probably not. I mean, that might be a little severe. They might beat Buffalo today, but to say that they're going to be one of the great teams of the season.
People have picked Buffalo to win the World Championship.
True. You see the clock counting it down. And that's it. The first ball game of 1989 is in the books. Marty Schottenheimer taking his Chiefs off the field. Played real.
Who had been there for so many years to kick off. Almost a rock concert feel for the Bills' home opener. Tucker is the man in the middle. Treadwell's kick comes down to the 11-yard line, dropped by Harmon there, picked back up, and he is stopped at the 19-yard line. Ronnie Harmon, who comes in on third down situations. We'll see him in those spots, and we'll see Jim Kelly at the helm. Kelly last week scored his first NFL touchdown in his 4-year Bills career at the end of the game to beat Miami. Thurman Thomas, second season. Jamie Mueller, good blocker. Burkett and Reed are the wide receivers. Metzelaars is the tight end. And the offensive line, Devlin, the longtime tackle, is now a guard. Ballard weighs in at over 300, number 75. First down, Buffalo from the 19-yard line with Reed going in motion. And Kelly to put